Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Sorry about that. Small audio problems, had to reboot and all that stuff. But hey man, I made it. How is everybody doing today? Thank you guys for showing up, especially you that were here early. Today's a special stream for me, starting an hour earlier than I usually do. It is going to be a Trion hosted stream. I don't know if they've hosted me already yet or not, but that is supposed to be in the works, which is good news for you people out there that follow my stream. Why? Because I got some really cool loot to give away today. Archeage bundles, Bloomfangs, and what was it? Conqueror's Cube?
If this is some sort of hazing
that
ritual,
is
we're gonna end up naked in a
amazing.
river somewhere. I'll need to arrange for a ride home.
Sparks is grounded. Thank you very much, Sparks, for that host. Welcome to the stream, Sparks viewers. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday, and I'm out here in the Midwest, Ohio to be exact. Boy, it's a hot one out there. Man, sweating my nubbins off. Love it, love it. Rather be hot than cold. I've always said that. And you don't really appreciate that until you're cold. Thankfully, in Ohio, we get all that weather, so we know what cold is, we know what hot is, and I got to be honest with you, I prefer the hot. So lots of things lined up today. It's going to be a very interesting stream. What I want to do today is talk about some of the stuff that's coming out in Korea. Thank you to Omnom. Mark over there is doing an absolutely smash-up job getting us that information. Things are really hopping out in Korea. If you guys been paying attention to Mark, he's like busier than a one-armed paper hanger. He's just putting stuff out like crazy, and that's because the volume of the stuff that's coming out in Korea is quite impressive, which is actually good news for us here in EU North America. And you know, if you want to put the puzzle pieces together, this is the way it's snapping together in my head. Jake Song made a return to executive producer back in XL Games. What was that video? Just a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and it seems like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of action coming out in Korea. So I really like that, and we're going to break that down. We're going to talk to a couple of the community staples today here in the stream. The first person that I'm going to speak with today is Hazmat. Hazmat is a former Reddit mod for the Archeage subreddit. He's also a friend. Well, you know, as friendly as you can get online. Lunessa, thank you very much for the host, and thank you very much for that sub as well. I really appreciated that. Hazmat's going to be joining me here in, I don't know, about 25 minutes. And we're going to talk a little bit about, well, here's the thing about Hazzmatt. Hazzmatt is not only a Reddit mod, or was a Reddit mod for quite a long time. He was also a guild member of mine back on Hanor, where we were in a guild together called Ayahuasca, which was pretty much the east side faction, as it were. We took all the content and all that kind of stuff. Hazzmatt is a really big PvPer. And if you guys know me, you know I'm not. So in that regard, Hazzmatt is like the yin to my yang, or the yang to my yin, however you want to look at that. And so I was really excited that he was willing to talk, because he knows a lot about PvP. This guy, from what I remember, when we were guildmates together, he was undergeared. Just undergeared, but one of the best PvPers that I've ever run into. He could handle himself in pretty much every situation. He knew the classes, so he's going to be a really good person to speak with about some of the stuff that's coming out in Korea, and especially the changes that we're going to be seeing with the Abyssal skill tree that's going to be added, as well as, you know, we just had a recent shuffle of what all the skills do and what the combos are. So yeah, so Hazmat's going to be really interesting to talk to. And then also I reached out to Mark at Omnom, because this is where all this data is coming from. And I don't know if you know it, but Mark is actually in Europe this weekend, or this week. I don't know when he's coming back. But he actually said he's going to try to make some time. So he may actually show up, and if he does, we'll be speaking with Mark at Omnom.
In a river somewhere, I'll need to arrange for a ride home.
Thank you, Trion, for that host. Welcome all the Trion viewers. If you're in the Trion Worlds channel, and you would like to participate in the Trion World giveaways in this stream, you need to head over to my channel. Just click that Go to Channel button. We'll pop you over here, and you'll be eligible for the mic static. Oh boy, that's not good. I actually just rebooted my system right before the stream started to try to alleviate some of that stuff. If you guys don't know what's going on in my world, I had a new video camera. Thank you, Jed. I had a new video camera that just came up. And Trion hosted party. I had a new video camera that I just installed last week, and it is still doing the same thing, where it just freezes randomly. That was causing some problems with my audio because it has its own mic, and so I just completely unplugged that, and when I did, I started getting some weird audio problems, and I had to reboot right before I came up live. So hopefully the static, I don't know what I can do to fix it other than back away a little bit from my mic. If it's too bad, let me know, and I'll just try to reset everything once again. But other than that, we're just going to forge forward. So today's topic is going to be the skill changes, the Abyssal skill tree, and then we're going to hopefully speak about the Hiram Tier 2 and Hiram Tier 3, which, wow, that's already coming out in Korea. That's craziness. Some good thoughts are happening on the Trion forums. If you guys want to head over there, some of the people talking about what that's going to look like, how Hiram gear, you know, the topic that I said something in was about how the Hiram gear is supposedly making all the other gear obsolete. And so we'll discuss that. You know, I've got some feelings on that, and I'm sure you do too as well. Been a couple weeks since I streamed. Last week I was video camera hell, so I didn't actually stream. I was actually kind of upset, but I'm still active. I'm still in Archeage, still doing my Archeage things. Here I am on the Thunderwing server, and what I'm going to do, like I said, we're going to talk Abyssal skills here in just a few minutes. Oh yeah, my stream title, thank you very much. Let me get that changed. Hiram gear and Abyssal skills. Probably spelled some of that wrong, but hey. Thank you very much. Title has changed. There we go. Thank you guys, everybody, for the follows. I'm not going to be announcing those today because when Trion hosts me, I just get way too many of them. But if you guys follow me, you know I usually try to announce those things. So thank you very much for all the followers. Been lots of that. So today's stream is going to be 3 hours long. My normal stream time is 3 hours. We're just going to do an hour for Trion. Let's see, what is the time saying? It's 4:30. So we're going to do the first half of the raffles, the Trion giveaways, here in 25 minutes. And then we'll do the other half at the end of the Trion hour. The Trion hosting hour, that is. So let me go ahead and get that timer set up. Raffles are going to start here in, let's say, 25 minutes. Let's see, what time is it? 4:30. That's, let's say, 20 minutes. That gives us enough time to do the raffles and continue streaming. So here's the schedule. This first half hour, I'm just going to recap what's been going on with my characters on Nui server and on the Thunderwing server. The second half hour, we're going to be talking with Hazzmatt about the Abyssal skills and the new skills, skill changes. And then in my first hour of my normal stream time, hour two, hopefully we'll have Market Omnom joining us, and we'll talk about the Hiram gear. All right, so here's what's going on Thunderwing. Thunderwing, baby. Thunderwing is probably the most populated in a server there is, except for the Fresh Start. This is not my original server, but this is a server that I have ended up on. It is one of the last merged servers. Still in the same guild, Nakama. And if you guys don't know, what I do to make money is larceny, and I also have these seed houses that I've set up. I've got a total of 5 of them, these little tier 2 cottages with these seed beds. That's one of the things that I do to make money. The other thing is, of course, larceny. I like going out and finding those silver crates, the copper crates, opening up the jester crates or the prince crates. And that's pretty much where all my money comes from, aside from handicraft. Now, handicraft has been, it's probably the same with any other profession, I have to admit. I don't know other crafting professions, but handicraft has always been like the red-headed stepchild, if you will, forgive the metaphor, of the crafting world. That being because jewelry is usually the last thing people care about. We had some niceness happen when we used to be able to craft our Luna gems, and people used to blow up Luna gems so you could craft them, and sometimes you can make some money, sometimes you couldn't. Now, since anybody can craft them, and the commission on the community trade boards, it's been a little rougher than normal. Also, this crystallization mechanic, it's not working with handicraft, in my opinion. The big thing about the crafting in the old system is you could always blow things up when you regraded it. And so, you know, if something didn't sell a few times, you would just regrade it until it blew up or until it got to a grade that would sell. Now the system has been replaced by the Aranor crafting system, and I actually wrote the transcript for a video where I was going to talk about the importance of Aranor. Not so much in that it's a great armor and weapon set, because I really don't know, but the importance in that the fact that the system is actually designed to remove all these crystallized items that are entering the market from broken regrades. Because people are not going to engage in the Aranor system for accessories until they have everything else. There are a few people, you weirdos out there, like Caveman Sean, I know has a few Ionad pieces that he was, jewelry pieces that he was working on. But until some of these people start actually working on that, the prices on the jewelry is just in the toilet. I mean, it's literally, you can buy whatever you want cheaper than you can actually buy the mats to craft it. Which, as a high handicrafter, actually on all 3 of my accounts, that really sucks. So the money that I used to make on handicraft is not there. Not there. And I did have a little window. I mean, look at this. You can buy a Divine Ionad earring for 3k gold. You cannot make one for that. The price of the, well, they may have come down, but the price of the Starlight essences were so high that they were like 80 gold each. So 80 gold times the 54 to go from Delphinod to Ionad, I mean, that's 4k gold right there. So the prices on some of this lower tier stuff that's crystallized is so cheap that you can't even match it. Now, people do pay premiums for uncrystallized stuff, like this Ionad. You know, you can see that this is almost double, well, not quite, you know, 50% higher for this Ionad wave earring that's not broken or not crystallized. It's 1,700 gold higher. Still, I don't know if you're going to be making any money when you consider the labor, the gold it costs to craft, the gold to regrade, the transmuter, all the stuff that it takes to actually craft this. I still don't think you can make any money at this level. Now, a lot of this stuff is probably older. I don't know that anybody's actually crafting this stuff now. Let's take a look at the Starlight essences. Well, that's not going to do it. Starlight Archeum. There it is. Now they're down to 20 gold. That's decent. That's decent. I should actually buy these. That's still not enough to do much with, but hey, I'll buy those for now. So anyway, if you guys are crafters out there, you guys let me know how you're feeling. I actually did take a 4A. I was going to say foray. I took a 4A into crafting other things, and I made this Ionad bow, mostly because I had the Ionad scrolls and I had a bunch of Archeum saved up, and of course I get my own mysterious garden powders from the loot crates that are the Prince crates and the Jester crates that I do. So I had enough to craft an Ionad bow, and it actually procced to Celestial when I crafted it, and I've actually listed it 3 times now at basically the cost to craft. And if you added up the materials, 15k gold. No one's bought this thing for 15k gold. This is an Ionad bow. It's just not selling. And what do I do? I mean, what do I just sit here and relist it and relist it and relist it? I mean, 100 gold, 100 gold, 100 gold, down the drain, down the drain, down the drain. It's already cost me 300 gold. So instead of going down that route, I'm just going to regrade it. And if it goes to Divine, maybe it'll sell. If it goes to Epic, it'll probably sell. If it goes to Divine, I might even just regrade it again and see if I can get lucky and get a legendary, and then of course I could sell it. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to chat. I was just rattling on. I hope everybody's doing okay. I see a lot of my normal people here. Good to see you. Arid, would you mind if I post it? Yeah, let me get you that. Let me get you a permission. Permit Trion _ Muzzy. There you go. You're good. Also today, a little bit of Archeage news. If you guys haven't heard, Trion was experiencing a little bit of connection issues. That was not Trion's doing. That was a Comcast problem. And I've actually had confirmation from people in Discord that we're having problems just getting online, let alone Trion games. So Comcast was having some server outages across the network. So for me, though, I logged into EU, Nui server and Thunderwing server right before this stream started, and I didn't have any problems getting in. So hopefully that's kind of resolving itself. There's Sweet Tart. Comcast had me down for 3 hours. Okay. So yeah, that issue is going on. Hopefully it's kind of resolved itself by now. But yeah, if you're having issues with the Trion connections to any of the Trion games, in this case it is not Trion's fault, it is Comcast's fault. And you probably can verify that because you know who your service provider is. Let's see, what time do we got? Did I get my... Okay, we got 10 minutes until the raffles. After the raffles, we're going to bring Hazmat in, and we're going to talk about the Abyssal skills and the new skills, and we're going to just kind of pick his brain to see what the new meta is. That's going to be a fun talk. But since we have 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and do these regrades. I'm going to go ahead and push it and see what I can get. What's the best-selling bow? You think it's a flame bow, wave bow, or gale bow? Probably wave or flame, right? What would you guys think? I'm going to use a yellow regrade charm, which is only going to give me like a 90% chance. I would say gale would be pretty good, but I don't think people are gonna. I don't think people would want a gale bow. If you're gale, that means you're an archer and you're not going to settle for a celestial. So I'm thinking flame or wave. I've seen a lot of flame on the marketplace though. Well, let's take a look. You know, if it actually, what is the gear score in that thing? Oh, I don't know yet. I could actually use the wave bow myself, although I have an epic tier 5 Obsidian. Yeah, that's what I thought, Lunessa. Epic, Gale has to be epic or whatever. Hey, Mr. Meyer, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Let's look at the auction house. Then I'll make a decision real quick. Let's see, ranged weapons. Oh wow. You're basically 13K for a broken divine. Damn, son. Yeah, let's go wave. Let's just do wave. That way if it breaks and it doesn't sell, maybe I can do something with it. So only a 90% chance with a yellow regrade charm. I did scoop up those Dune's Blessings, spent a little cash to get the daily credit package. I believe that's what I got, or did I just, maybe I just spent $50 on credits to get the, which is rare for me to spend money. But when they had that, where is it? The limited time event where you could buy up to 4 Dune's Blessings, I bought all 4. I don't know. I still like regrading. even though it can really be frustrating, and I think it's the source of a lot of people quitting. Especially when you blow up a weapon that's all you got. Thankfully on the Fresh Start servers, I don't think that's an issue anymore, but you know, I still always enjoyed that regrading, and when I regrade, I just assume that I'm going to lose the item, and if I don't, you know, that's all right. You know, always make sure you have a backup. I guess that's a big thing. Where is your house? I'm on the Thunderwing server, and I live in Halo Hollow. So here's Halo Hollow, and here's me. Right under where it says Saffron Plantation. You guys can see that on stream there. So I'm gonna really need some love here. I'm gonna really need some love, because hopefully this thing goes to Divine, and then I'll make a decision. I've only got 3K gold to my name right now. What happened there? Is that a hack? What is going on? I mean, he's either bugged or hacking. You see that poor Muzzy? He just wanted to hang out, and now we see this. Oh boy. Yep. He's hacking. He does it all the time. Wow. He's been banned on Aaron's app like 10 times. His name is Killer Keymister with 3 E's. Can you see it here on stream? I've got him highlighted. Killer Key M Star. Kill him, Kim Star. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and hit this. I hope it just goes at least to Divine. If it goes to Epic, I'll probably just sell it. If it goes Divine, probably just have to regrade it again. Kill Kim. Yeah. Some of your names, man. Why does it do this to me? I cannot read everybody's name in chat because of the font colors. And I can switch to the dark mode, but then I can't read some of those names. So, yeah. Let's just try that. Oh, it's Kairo Shiro. Hey, how you doing, man? All right, guys. Let's you guys send me some love here. Let's hit this unit. Let's get this thing to Divine at least. And and then we'll go from there. We'll make a decision. The great success is way rarer now that it's only 5% of total success rate versus the 10. It was actually 20, I am this guy. Now it's 10. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and hit this thing. Oh, boy, I really hope this thing goes up because, man, I am broke. All right, we're going to be trying a, this is a Ionad Celestial Wave Bow, Yellow Charm, and Resplendent Scroll. Best case scenario is we get an Epic. Hopefully it at least goes to Divine. What we don't want to see is it blowing up or crystallizing. Worse, that would be the worst case, but it could also go back down to Arcane. All right, we're going to hit it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great success, baby. Hey, you shoot for the sun, you may just hit the moon. We got to Divine. Remember those 4 regrades you did from Faithy? They are on Thunderwing now. Wow, they are. Cool. Yeah, I had a great regrade day. At least it didn't fail, that's right. Hey Hammer, how you doing, Wick and Vape? Good to see you. I heard you've been streaming. Heard you've been having fun on PTS with my buddy Mac. Oh, I got a really cool screenshot. Really cool screenshot. Here we go. We're gonna silver charm this thing. Why not? It's gonna give us what, a 50% chance? Yep. 50% chance at Epic. Which would be a 5% chance at Legendary. Woo! We got a minute and a half before we get Hazmat in here and we talk some skills. Let me see if he's around. Sorry guys, I'm just letting people know what's going on. And let me get to my channel. Okay, we got Hazmat on deck. So after the raffles, we're gonna get Hazmat in here and we'll talk some skills, some new skills. Hey Sabbath, how you doing, man? Free 20% loot drop potion is a good start. What happened? All right, let's go ahead and do this before the raffles. Hey, the one thing about doing the Trion raffles is I'm not eligible to win the prizes because you know that would be hacking. You know, you couldn't get, like, if I win, you're just going to assume that I cheated. Although I'd never do that. I'm just saying I can't win my own prizes, but I can win right now. If you guys all think positive with me, we'll get this thing to Legendary, and it'll be like I won, right? Okay. All right, so we're going to hit this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legendary, baby! Son of a bitch. The worst possible thing that could happen. Alright. Well, I didn't win today. Did not win today. So we're going to do some raffles through the Nightbot, which we're going to do keyword raffles. We're going to fire these off pretty quickly, so sit tight. We're going to get you the keywords here in just 1 second. Where is my Nightbot? There he is. Okay. And let me get my list of prizes. Alright. We've got 4 Archean bundles, 2 black Bloomfangs, 2 violet Bloomfangs, and 2 Conqueror's Cubes. So we're going to do 2 Archean packs, one of each Bloomfang and Conqueror's Cube. So let me write that down here. 4 Archean packs, 2 black blooms, 2 violet blooms, 2 cubes. All right. Hey, Hazzmatt, can you hear me?
Hey, I hear you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the music here so we can do our best to hear Hazzmatt as we can through these speakers. So, Hazzmatt, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for those that may not know you?
Okay. I've been in game right now. I'm Hazel on the server Conviction. I've been playing Archeage since it's come to NA, and I did the head start on Trion, and then jumped over to the second start server of Inoc. From there, I kind of just jumped between guilds, and ended up right now I'm in Not Disaster in the Nation on Conviction.
So you're actually officially in Disaster now?
Yes, officially. For a portion of that, I was actually pirate and helping them kind of do some spy background stuff, but mostly PvP, just trying to have fun.
Cool, cool, cool. So what's the best thing that you like about Archeage? What's the #1 thing?
Well, to be honest, the biggest draw to me was watching people stream arenas. I came with a group of friends, but when I saw that people would stream arenas day in and day out, it looked like an insane amount of fun. It's really kind of a shame that they put those caps on arenas, where it used to be that it was a huge advertisement draw. I thought it was kind of silly that they capped it. But I understand the reasoning, but I still would really like to uncap arenas.
Honestly, I don't understand the reasoning, and I don't PvP, so that should tell you something. I mean, I've done maybe 100 arenas in 3 years. So.
Oh, really?
So, that being said, I never understood the cap, and I don't even really know how it works right now. I heard that in Korea they did what I think people have been suggesting for a couple years, which was to instead of capping the entries, they just cap the points that you could earn.
Yeah, and that's the system that we have now.
So you can do more than 5 arenas every day if you want to.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
But there's still ways you can still use the badges to get the awards, which is kind of good in that sense. Where yeah, we do have these uncapped arenas, but I want a truly uncapped arena where there's still the incentive for other people to go in the arenas, and not just have the constant, you're facing the one guy every single arena.
Yeah, and so part of that comes down to the player pool, right? So if you go to games that do MOBAs, and there's nobody playing that MOBA, it's hard to get a match, right?
Yeah, and you'll probably see some familiar faces from time to time.
Pretty much nonstop, and but then you take a game like Fortnite, and you're probably never going to get in the same group with the same team that you were just playing, if you do random. So, yeah, it goes to the amount of players, and I think I kept seeing these bruiser badges, and I'm like, why are they giving these to us if you can just do nonstop arenas? So thanks for explaining that. I had no idea what that was about. So you can actually still earn honor with the bruiser badges. Is it a hard reset? So like if you do 5 matches, you do all 5 of your arenas, then you pop a bruiser badge. Is it just one more arena, or does it reset all 5?
I don't want to explain this incorrectly, but from what I understand is that honor isn't really in the arenas at all anymore. It's all the Curios badges.
It's just Curios badges. Okay, yeah, my bad. I should have picked up on that. So, but is it one more entry, or is it? I guess I could look at the item.
You could still enter, but from my understanding, the badge actually lets you, or the Warrior's emblem, or whatever that is called, lets you receive the award from the arena that you use it on.
It says resets all daily arena entries. So does that count for like?
Complete reset.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you,
So
Steve.
you could do
Yeah.
every version, then hit a bruiser badge, and then have those versions back. That actually adds some value to those bruiser badges, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, so let's talk about this big change that's happened in North Korea, or
Yeah.
South Korea. This big change that's happened in Korea with the Abyssal skill tree. Uh,
Yeah, so that was a lot of people have been complaining about the Abyssal system in Archeage not really having a place. Like we went from this level system and then we tacked on this Abyssal system on top of it. And then they went a completely different route and went to the Successor level system. So Abyssal was just kind of there. And this last patch, they tried to work it in where you had Abyssal passives. You could only unlock those passives if you had the Abyssal tree. And people kind of like that. It rebalanced the old Abyssal system and made it easier to understand. But I guess Excel Games still didn't get what they wanted out of it, so they decided to put it all in its own tree and rework a lot of the actual skills within it. So you're not seeing the old skills that we have, like our main skills that we think of when we think of Abyssal, which is probably like the combat res or the petrify that's extremely annoying, or even the Oromancy's giant crushing grass, the clump that pulls everybody together. Those are actually gone in this new system. And other skills like Mana Stars that was in occultism is actually being moved to this new Abyssal tree as your kind of basic attack.
yeah, and that's as a larceny crate farmer. I'm glad that you brought that up. Miller MX, thank you for the bits. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something that I wanted to touch on. Is I play the Revenant, and the Revenant, when I do my crate farming, I use the Mana Stars as a roundup. You know what I mean? Tag each mob and then suck them in and kill them all. And this is a change I'm not fond of. But you know, is there do you have you how much have you looked at these new skills? I'm showing them here in stream, but I don't know how much people can see of what the tree is going to look like. But have you browsed through this, and do you see any new classes where you pretty much got to take the Abyssal skill tree to, I don't know, for me, like a Revenant, I may have to drop Aromancy and take Abyssal or something like that.
So overall, from what I can tell from this tree, is it is not very well defined yet. There's aspects of it that is okay. This is a utility tree. You have your random teleport, you have your group teleport, but you also have a lot of magic damage tied in. So it's definitely a mage tree. You got the Mana Stars, and you've got your AOE mage skills. But just chatting about it, it's not a tree that. So a lot of Archeage is, because you have all these skills, it's really hard to tell until you really have it in your hands and you can play with it and mess with it.
Yeah, and we should be clear that what we're talking about is something that is not necessarily coming to us in the way that it is currently in Korea. We're just talking about it as the best we can as speculative.
Exactly. And also I want to add on top of that is my main class is healer. So I'm going to be talking about a mage class from a point that I don't understand it completely, but as a sense of raid PvP, I need to understand how it works so I know how to move around it and avoid getting killed by it, basically. So from what I've read about it is it's a utility / damage class in KR. I've seen it used as a damage primarily. But even I think in KR it actually was a little too overpowered, and they actually ended up nerfing it slightly, ratio wise.
Interesting. And I'm trying to.
And there was even a.
I'm trying to understand this as I see it. So we're basically getting a lot of the Abyssal skills as we know them now put into their own tree. And
Yes.
are these things going to be just straight up skills that you can use, or do you have to still somehow get Abyssal points to actually cast the spell like we do now?
So it's moving to a rage system. So it kind of is overall, yes, it's skills that you click and use. And then there's like this like stacking. So kind of like how Shadowplay has its bloodlust. This system will have rage that'll change how the skills work in effect. And you can even see that in the passives as well. For instance, where if you have wrathful casting attack speed increase 35 when you have a single stack of rage. And you can see in other skills, the actual descriptions say, if you have rage, this is what actually changes. So there's that rage system, but it also lines up with, there's the rage system, but it's, again, it's really hard to explain until we play with it ourselves.
Sure. All right, so let's talk about some of this other stuff that's going on. I'm looking here on the stream, and I'm showing the combo helper. This almost seems like a no-brainer that kind of should have been in the game for a long time. And I got to admit that as somebody that just kind of learned one or two skill or classes, I don't really know how all these combos work. And I know somebody like you have to know because it's PvP, and if somebody does this, the chances are the next skill is going to be whatever, right?
Abyssal skills.
Thank you, Mark, for the bits, and we're going to be speaking. Thank you, Mark, for being here. We're going to be speaking with Mark in the next half hour. So cool. Thank you, Mark, for the bits. But what I was getting at is I never really understood the combo system. Like when you read something, it says combos with this effect, and then you're like, well, what the hell gives that effect, you know? And so this system, it looks like it's going to say you pick a skill that has a certain effect that goes along with it, like arc lightning, and you get the shock or whatever that's on that. Then you can see what skills actually combo with that. And it seems like this is something that should have been in the game from the very beginning. But do you think this is going to be like a step to help people become better PvPers, or what do you think of that?
I think that it'll help people when they're picking their skills and classes and maybe show them, hey, this is a combo that normally isn't used. But it's really kind of hard to decide that. And a lot of what it comes down to in Archeage is even though there's so many options for these classes, but you really only see these cookie cutter classes, and that's because of the cross tree combos. Very rarely are you going to see somebody running around as Hellweaver, which is Sorcery, Battle Rage, Shadowplay, and actually being effective or more effective than someone running around as an Executioner, where he's got those combos for the trips. So it makes it, that combo system is going to be helpful, but if you PvP actively, you already know that kind of already exists in our system, whereas if you actually were to attack a dummy that could take debuffs, you'll see that blue border pop up already. So what I'm seeing from the combo system, it's only when you're building the class itself that'll be
so it's more of a tutorial type thing than it is actually, like some of the, let's talk Bless Online if you've watched any of that footage. I never played it, but I watched the footage, and it's like they have openers, right? So their opener, and then it's like, which tree do you want to combo into? And so it's not necessarily anything like that. It's more of like a help for you to pick your classes, and that's the way I thought of it. And it's glad to hear you kind of explain it the same way. Am I right on that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then so this other one, this is a big thing that I'm showing here on the stream now, is the debuff indicator. And I got to admit, I had the hardest time. Like, I watch people like GamePro 3 when he does his streams where he's PvPing, and it's like he's able to like, he just shrugged it off. So that means, you know, he knows like instantly what they did, how they got rid of something, and their answer, and then he knows what he can do like almost right away. So, well, he just shrugged this off, so that means I can open up with this now. This debuff indicator, I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's never going to give me that kind of information that like somebody. I just use GamePro 3 because he's one I've been watching, but there's other ones like Master Doom and stuff like that. All the good PvPers, they know what debuffs are anyway, and I don't know how the hell they know. Like, I don't know how they know like right away what's happened to them, how they get out of it, and how they can answer it. And so maybe this is a step in the right direction for somebody like me that doesn't quite understand that system. Honestly, I like knowing a lot of things, but I've never really had much interest in PvP. So this stuff is, you know, it's not something I've ever dug into and tried to learn. But do you see this as a gateway to help more people? Or is it just kind of something, I guess people that know what these debuffs are, this is really not going to help them at all, but I don't know. What's your take on this debuff indicator?
I think it's helpful, but it really comes down to, if you already know what the debuff is, this isn't going to be a big change for you. A lot of these changes they're doing this upcoming patch is really focused on the new players coming in that aren't able to understand it instantly. And like, the first thing that struck me, or when I initially saw this, is like, okay, it's just a bigger debuff bar so you can see it more clearly, compared to where a lot of PvPers, if you watch any videos, they usually have your health bar right smack dab in the middle of the screen, so you can already see those debuffs. Whereas you go to the default Archeage setup, your health bar is all the way up in the corner.
Yeah, and if you got a big screen, it's hard to watch that at the same time.
Yeah, so a lot of active PvPers are already kind of using this system already, and they understand what all the icons mean.
Wow.
So
okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at. This is really these two last things that we talked about, the debuffs and the the combat helper, that is just basically stuff to help newer players. Now the question is are we getting newer players? I mean, that's the big thing. It's good to have those systems in place, but you got to have newer players coming into the game. And I guess on the Fresh Start server, and that seems to be what Excel and Trion, to a lesser degree, have done as a focus, is they're like, okay, look, we know the old game or the old things maybe didn't work that great, and a lot of those players left. We'll probably never get them back, so let's just make a new server and let's give everybody equal footing, and then that lasts, X amount of time. And so those people that are coming into the game, this will really be helpful to them. But on the legacy server, where you've got people that are pretty hardened and pretty much know the systems, this is probably not going to be that big of a deal at all.
No, and it's also, overall, it's really hard to predict about what we're actually getting, because there are things that have been changing in KR now for months that we still haven't seen in our game.
Yeah.
Or in AEU.
And then some things are actually...
Here's a huge example that I want to make known, is that in KR, there's a huge, in our version right now, there's a huge combo where you do Death's Vengeance, and you run up to somebody and you play dead, and now they're stunned.
Interesting.
In KR, that play dead the skill can only be used if you're out of combat. So a lot of what is happening in our PvP on our ENA and EU is you get jumped, you're in combat, and you are sitting there spamming play dead, so you stun them and you're able to use your Raven Spine and run away. In KR, you can't do that. And it's a change that's been over there because they knew that it was a kind of a cheesy way to get out of any situation, but we still haven't seen it in our version.
I never knew anything about that. And as somebody that only wants to escape from PvP, that's my move. It's like I get jumped and I'm like, how do I get out of this? That's all I want to do. I don't want to turn and fight. I just want to get out of it. So maybe that'll help me a little bit on that until it gets fixed. So
yeah, it was brought up mostly for the cheese that would be done in arenas, where you'd have the Reaper, which is basically Revenant, except replace Shadowplay with Ormancy, or Ormancy with Shadowplay. And you would just be able to run in straight to a fight, get into combat, and then do play dead and put them in the deep freeze combo that they can't escape from.
Ah, that is cheese. Well, there you go, guys. If you want to, if you heard anything you liked, you got some cheese from Hazmat. I didn't know anything about that, so that's interesting. All right, so that is the coming skill tree changes. God, that was hard to say. And again, you guys, this is just kind of a first look from what has happened in Korea. Not necessarily stuff that's going to be happening. I want to make that clear. Trion can and sometimes does change things. So that is what we think about what's going on with these skill changes. And I'd like to thank Hazzmatt for hanging out and talking with me about this. I've got Mark at Omnom hanging in the wind, and he's going to be talking about the Hiram Tier 2 and Tier 3 coming up in the next hour. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up with Hazzmatt. But before you go, Hazzmatt, was there anything else that you wanted to say about the skill changes or anything in general? You got an open platform here.
I think what people need to understand now is that this game, even though it has PvP aspects, it's not the same PvP game it was when it initially released. If you want to argue that, I look at safe zones now. When we started the game, there was no housing safe zones. Diamond Shores even is a great example, whereas Diamond Shores has an insane amount of safe zones and safe areas. So whereas PvP is still good in this game and they're doing a lot to work with it, some of the changes are not the best for it. But overall, I think that they could still do the right thing if they try.
And one thing we didn't touch on, and we've got just another minute or so before we get Mark in here. Well, before I do raffles and then we get Mark in here. We didn't touch on the changes to the raid bosses. Did you read on that with the...
Oh, yeah.
So let me just explain real quick what's going on. So the Leviathan, or no, I'm sorry, the Thunderwing and the Red Dragon... wait, hold on, let me find the changes. So it's not...
I think it was in the post before this.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what happens is only one faction can attack it on certain days. So if the Newies attack and kill the Red Dragon, they only have that opportunity, let's say, on Tuesdays, and then the next time it spawns, only the Harani can attack it. Now that is something that I've kind of been advocating for a little bit. Only in the fact that there's a lot of content in Archeage that people don't get to do because one guild or faction or nation takes it all. So how do you feel about these changes and what you guys do? And I don't know necessarily if it's that big of a deal anymore because a lot of the stuff that these things dropped got nerfed a while ago. So it may not be that big of a deal, but what's your thoughts on it?
Well, with our current system where it is, if Haranian kills the dragon, it is now allied with them, is a really kind of messed up system. Whereas if you're the most powerful guild on the server and you're able to kill that dragon, you're basically shutting out that contact for everybody else on the server. Whereas in KR, they're moving it to the system where Tuesday is Harania, Thursday is West or Nuians, and then the last day is a fight day. The problem with that is you're just gonna entice. It will work on KR. It'll not work on NA and EU because of alts and tradable gear. Because you have your top end players, then I have Aranors that are 100% tradable gear. you just move all that gear onto your alt, and now you're still farming the server.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that, where it's not necessarily the gear, or I'm sorry, it's not necessarily the level of the player that actually matters, it's the gear.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay. All right, well, everybody, I thank you very much, Hazzmatt, for joining me this half hour. We're going to set up the raffles now, and we're going to give away the rest of these Trion prizes. And after these raffles, please stick around and... I don't know if you guys saw what I just saw. Please stick around, and we're going to have Mark at Omnom, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Hiram gear. Thank you, Hazzmatt, for hanging out, and good luck in the raffles, bub.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. We just lost another... What happened? Nope, he's still alive. Kill Kimi Star Please No Ban is back and hacking away. That's one for Muzzy. By the way, thank you everybody for the bits during that. Omnom, Jen, Miller, MX. Thank you guys for the bits. Keep them coming, man. Throw pennies at me. You can throw dollars too. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and set up for another set of raffles. We've got two more $150 Archeage packs. We've got one Black Bloom Fang, one Violet Bloom Fang, and one Conqueror's Cube to give out. Let's get that going here. Let me find my win mark from Omnom. I did. I found him. Hey, Mark, how you doing today?
Hello there. That's good.
Can hear you a little better now. What are you doing? Can you tell people where you're at? What's going on?
Just hold on one second.
Sounds like he's in a tunnel.
Yeah.
I think we may have just lost him. Uh-oh. 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 Did we lose Mark? Uh-oh. Muzzy, I'm going to send you these codes, or this list here in Discord.
Sorry about that. My internet's kind of bugging out.
Of course. We always have to have a little bit of hiccups.
Yeah, anyways, I'm in Italy right now. Just got here today. So basically just vacationing right now on break, and that's that.
So you're in Italy on vacation.
Yeah, but still working on Omnom.
Wow.
Still chipping away at that latest article on the Hiram T3 and the new region in Aurora.
All right. So before we talk about the Hiram Tier 3, let's talk about Hiram Tier 2, which I believe that was out, well, it was out last time we talked, right? We talked Hiram last time as well, didn't we?
Yep. Hiram Tier 2, I think, right?
Yeah, and so let's just recap that real quick for those that are kind of not in the know. First off, before we get into the Hiram gear, let me tell you who I'm speaking with. His name is Mark. He runs the website Omnom.io, which is the #1 website for Archeage information coming from Korea. He does all the translations, and actually is probably one of the top Archeage sites in the world. So if you're looking for news about what's coming to our region, at least get an idea of what can come to our region, you probably already heard of Omnom.io, and that's who I have here with me. Mark, do you want to say anything to that in that regards?
Just keep reading my stuff and you'll know what's coming, you know?
So with what you put out and what you've seen actually get implemented, what do you think the success rate, or what I'm looking for is like 90% of the stuff you put out gets actually translated at the way you put it out. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, basically what we're looking at right now is Excel's basically ignoring Legacy as it is. They're only focusing on their fresh start, which makes sense. It makes sense because in Korea, their fresh start is basically their bread and butter. Their legacy's dead. But yeah, I mean, whatever they basically put out right now is more or less what we get on NA/EU, maybe with a couple changes along the way, maybe with a couple localization changes. But overall, that's what we're getting, it seems.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And before you even started Omnom.io, one of the things that we had issues with, we're talking back in like 1 point whatever, what we would get these loose translations like Percy and I forget the other guy's name that used to like just kind of give us a crappy Google's translated, and then everybody would speculate wildly on how that's going to affect North America and EU. And then by the time we got it, it was absolutely nothing like nothing like it was in Korea. And so what I started doing my content creation a couple years ago, that was the case. And so when you started, and I don't think I was very public about it, but I was like, well, I don't want to talk about anything until it gets to the PTS, right? And then that way we can verify everything. And now, pretty much anything that, like what you put out is like, at least in my opinion, like 95% going to be what we get. And as you said, just a minor couple little differences here and there. Thank you for the bits. So yeah, that's actually good. I actually like that. I like that because that gives us a glimpse, and it is cool. So let's move into the Hiram Tier 2. I will give a quick recap, and then you can add to that if you don't mind, Mark. So basically,
for sure.
So basically, what's going to happen is there's a new system, and let me pull that up. Let me pull up Amnon here. Okay, so let's see if I can find this. Spots changes, pet changes, skill changes, full patch notes. All right, the Hiram gear and awakening. This is what we're talking about if you guys would like to tune in. And Mark has already talked about the Tier 3 Hiram gear, but I don't actually know that there's an article out on that. You're still working on the Hiram?
No article.
Okay. No article.
Yeah, I've been traveling a bit, so
no.
Haven't gotten that yet.
Come on, man, we want that article. No, enjoy yourself. Don't kill yourself trying to put this stuff out. I don't.
No, that's not worth.
Okay, so the Tier 2, so basically what happened is we all know what the Hiram gear is currently. You get the Hiram drops from the mobs, and it's basically goes up to Celestial. That's what the system we have now. Now, what's going to happen in Tier 2 is that there's going to be some new sources of the Hiram XP pieces, which are supposed to be coming out of the Queen's crates, the Prince crates, and the Ancestral crates. What they're doing is they're removing the braziers and the Archeum trees from those drop tables and adding in Hiram XP items, which will give anywhere from 200 to 400 XP. So basically, it's like double a normal Hiram piece XP, because we only get 100 XP per Hiram grand, and it will be a quicker way to level your Hiram pieces. But then the Hiram can get awoken, and that basically resets the grade to grand. It gives it some more base stats. By base stats, I mean like DPS, and then you can level it up to divine. And so basically it works just like, if you guys can think of like a cloak, where you have the Ethereum cloak, you feed it in, you get it to divine, and then all of a sudden you can upgrade it to Delphinod, and then you start that process once again. So that is going to be basically the way it works. It's called Awoken in Korea. It may be translated to something else because what did they call the Hiram gear in Korea? What was
Hiram?
Oh, it was.
I think it was Hiram.
Oh,
yeah.
it was Hiram. I thought they had.
I mean, the region that they just released is called Hiram.
Hiram.
Or Hirama. Like, it's the Hirama Mountain, West Mountains or something like that. So, if I recall correctly, it was Hiram gear.
Oh, I thought we were calling it Ancestor gear or something like that. Original.
I mean, it was a mix. So, originally, it was just translating out to be ancient gear. But then lore-wise, it was Hiram gear. And it was a mix between it.
Okay. So you can awaken your Hiram gear, which will allow you to go to level 2. That's where XL basically introduces the cash shop to, they're going to try to monetize everything anyway. So this is where the cash shop comes in. You can collect enough stuff and you can have a 10% chance to awaken your gear. If you fail, you have to spend honor to reset it. It's like a kind of like a pseudo crystallization mechanic. The only way you can fix it, and this is the way I liken that to. It's a liken to the way the glider system works, where you can attempt the upgrade, and if you fail, you don't necessarily lose your item, but to fix it, you have to spend something. And this is in this case, it's honor to fix it. However, you can go with the cash shop version of the attempt, and that gives you, what was it, a 30% chance instead of the 10% chance, and then
no, it's 50%.
50%. Holy shit, 50% chance instead of the basic 10% chance. But also, what they're doing is they're also introducing the fail stacks. So if you want to go, every time you fail, you get, what is it, 10%, 20% bonus?
If for non-cash shop, so for the regular ones, it's 5% bonus. For cash shop, it's 10% bonus.
Okay, so the cash shop versions, you get a 10% fail stack. On the regular version, you get a 5%. And also, wasn't there something about the cash shop where if you use the cash shop item and you fail, it doesn't require the honor to fix it?
Right, it doesn't crystallize.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. So that is basically the way the Tier 2 Hiram works. The Tier 2 Hiram, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, is basically gear that's equivalent to a little better than Ionad, with the max level being Divine.
Yeah, it's one item level higher than Ionad, so tiny bit.
It's a tiny bit better than Ionad, with, but the max level is only Divine. So if you have like a epic Ionad, it's probably a little bit better than the Tier 2 Hiram, which I guess is not enough. It's not enough for XL to be satisfied with that. They want this gear to be the thing, right? That's their goal, right? Everybody needs to start working on Hiram gear.
That's their goal. That's why they're releasing Hiram T3 in July 5th in Korea.
So coming next week in Korea, we're getting Hiram Tier 3. So because you don't, the only thing I know about it is what you posted in Discord, and it was just a small little blurb about it. But you want to let everybody know what we know currently about the Hiram Tier 3 gear.
Sure. So basically, the Hiram T3 gear is, I'm not sure if it's another awakening level or if it's already basically just a step up from the already awoken Hiram gear. But what it is basically the T3 is by, I don't know if by default, but the thing that they display on their site is it's epic Hiram gear, right? And the way that you obtain it is you obtain some items which are currently unmentioned and unknown in the new region, which are the Hiram Mountains, which seem to be in Aurora. And so basically you farm for those items and you do something with your T2 Hiram gear, and you
get to T3 Hiram gear from what I'm understanding from the article. And that T3 Hiram gear, it goes up to Epic. And that Epic T3 Hiram gear, if I recall correctly, the DPS level is equal to Eternal Ionad.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So let me cross-check that real quick. So the DPS level on untempered Epic T3 Hiram gear is just like on a dagger, 764.8. The DPS on a Ionad Flame Sword, let's just say, Eternal is 778. So it's comparable to that. It's between Mythic and Eternal Ionad, is what I'm saying. Now, that being said, in the new patch, Ionad does get a little bit of an improvement. The DPS levels do go up a little bit. The defense levels do go up a bit. But it's not going to be that substantial. So in the new patch, the Epic T3 Hiram gear is probably going to be equal to about Mythic Ionad.
Mythic Ionad for leveling up gear that you basically farm up. And so I know that this is still preliminary for you, and you don't have everything written and translated yet. You are on vacation, so if I ask anything that you don't know, it's acceptable that you don't know. But this is basically awoken. So awoken your gear, and then you farm more stuff, a la like, let's just say, like if you want Aranor items, you had to farm up the acid pouches and the armor fragments. So there's going to be some special item out there that you got to farm up, and then you can awaken your gear, or basically you go from tier 2 Hiram to tier 3 Hiram. And this stuff is
something like that.
This is basically in-game gear, right?
Yeah, I mean, for Fresh Start, it for sure is the end game gear, right? Obsidian is still not released on Fresh Start, and Ionad gear has just been released on Fresh Start with this patch. So Hiram gear is the gear of choice for basically all Fresh Start players. For Legacy players, I'd say that Aranor is still the option for those that have a couple credit cards laying around. For those that don't, maybe Obsidian tier 7 is still a bit better. But other than that, I mean, Hiram T3 is really the way to go. That being said, it's a pretty big grind, so be prepared for that.
Yeah, I saw some post on, there was actually a good post on the Archeage forums, and let me see if I can find it real quick to show the folks out there in Twitch land what I'm talking about. There's this post where the guy, this was posted by Ryan A, and he talks about the XP required. Thank you very much for the bits. We've got a bit war going on. Thanks, Mark. Let's see here. So they're calling it Brilliant Hiram here, I guess.
They're calling it Brilliant. I'm personally calling it Glorious, just because that's what they call T3 Lunar Gems, and they seem to sort of go with that theme. Like, right. But yeah, they call it Brilliant from the pure Google translated version.
And I could have sworn somebody posted what I was looking for, and this is probably not the post I was looking for. This guy's talking about the gear score and all that stuff that goes with it. But somebody did the math where they said it was like 53,000 XP to get it to Epic Tier 3. And
I don't know if it's 53,000. I don't know how they can know that because that information hasn't been relayed yet. I can for sure say that at Epic T3, to go from 0% Epic to 100% Epic, it's 116,000 experience. But I don't know how much it is to go from Divine to Epic.
Okay, so this was posted by Ryan A. He says, from the pics from XL, it looks like... Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You guys weren't seeing this. From the pics from XL, it looks like Divine to Epic Tier 3 will be 55k XP for that level. So one level, Divine to Epic, is 55k. Mind you, Divine 100% on Tier 2 is 31k. And so there's plenty of Koreans that already have full Divine 100%.
Right.
So I know this is the same territory that I was in when I was speaking with Hazmat, but what we're in speculative territory here. But if you look at what we have now, where we only have the Hiram Grand drops, we're not talking about the stuff that's supposed to be in the Prince and the Queens and the Ancestral crates, where you get a lot more. You have the option to get a lot more XP. But in this specific case, 55k XP just to go to one level, that's 550 drops. That's insanity. Yeah. And that's one item.
Yeah.
One item.
But I mean, to be fair, I mean, it shouldn't be that easy, but yeah, for sure it's a little too much of a grind right now, I'd say. That's something that I bring up to Trion and forum posts, and I'm sure that people are already bringing it up. But again, it's purely speculative. I don't know the experience levels right now.
Okay. Do you know if that kind of data is in the article, or is it not something that you've seen yet?
It's just not on the article at all. So the only experience levels that we've actually seen in the article for Hiram T3 is from 0 to 100% epic T3 Hiram gear. That's it.
And that was, what'd you say, 116,000?
116,024 experience.
So you're looking at, once you get it to Tier 3, you need 116,000, which in our world, with the methods that we have now, would be 1,160 drops.
Look at those cash shop gummies. Are they still available? The cash shop loot drops. I don't know if they're cash shop anymore, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So this is, and so we touched on this a little bit earlier, but kind of the way that this is going is, it sounds like XL basically has said, screw Obsidian. We're not going down that rate. We've tried to fix Obsidian. We try to balance it with the other systems. It's not where we want it, and we're done with it. And so they're just not releasing it on the Fresh Start servers. Is that kind of the feeling that you're getting too?
Oh yeah. They're only really releasing crafted gear and Hiram gear. That's it.
And so, honestly, so there's also another divide here between the players that are still playing on the legacy server. I would assume that our region, well, I would assume Russia has the most legacy players, and then we're second to that. I mean, if you look at Taiwan, Japan, and any of the other, China, the other servers that have legacy servers, we're probably the second biggest region, and those of us, like I'm September on Thunderwing right now, what you guys are looking at, I can farm up Hiram gear pretty good. Like I can get 20 to 30 drops in an hour. So the Hiram grind, and also if you look at the way I can do Prince crates and Ancestral crates, which I got a video coming out, it's already being worked on some of that stuff. I can do pretty good. I could pull 80 Prince crates an hour, 60-ish Ancestral crates, just depend on what I farm and how much I get bugged while I farm. So if those XP items are going to be in those crates, it's not a terrible burden for someone like me, who's already got basically decent gear to begin with, to start working towards my Hiram gear. And then actually, I will admit that it gives me something to do. It gives me another thing to work on. It's not something that I particularly like to work on, but it is there if I want to work on it. So the legacy version of me, I'm like, okay, I'll deal with it. I'll get a few pieces up, and I'll be okay with it. Now, here's the divide. The Fresh Start me, I hate this shit, man. It is brutal. It is brutal. I cannot say it a better way. I'm pushing 4K gear score on the Nui server, and I'm probably disconnected there because they still have that AFK kicker. Yep. Yeah, I'm disconnected there, but I'll try to log in and show off my Nui character. It is brutal. I was getting four drops an hour for the Hiram gear. 4 drops. I mean, that is, I cannot say it another way. It is brutal. It is really brutal to try to work on Hiram gear with such a low gear score. It's like you need that Delphinaut or that Ionaut gear to even get a good drop rate out of these mobs, because it just takes forever to kill shit. You know, Ryan was saying that Ryan A said that he's already sees people in Korea with these full sets of Divine 100%. Are these guys just insane nuts? They just love farming? What is going on? Like, how are these guys getting that much gear? And do you think he's talking about the legacy players on Korea, or do you think he's talking about the fresh start players having, tier 2 divines already?
I mean, I'm sure that fresh start players have tier 2 divines, but you got to understand that there are localization issues in the sense that Korea has a lot more loot drop buffs. For example, Korean players who play in PC bangs, they get a loot drop buff. There's a bunch more cash shop loot drop buffs, so that all stacks up, and in the end, I don't know how much exactly Korean players are getting in terms of just increased loot buffs, but they're getting a significant amount more. As a result, they're getting more Hiram drops in per farming session, and as a result, they're actually grinding up faster. The problem is that XL really doesn't look at things when they change something. So if they change, if they change one thing and it affects 10 other things, they won't really look at the 10 other things. They'll only look at the thing that they actually changed. This has been apparent since launch. So they'll probably address it in like the next year or so. But it's a localization issue, and it's an issue of Trion not being really able to really change the game at all. So they get the cookie cutter build that XL gives them. They might complain about it a little bit, but XL probably won't do much about it, and they implement that, and that's that.
Yeah, so we basically get what they give us. And
right.
I've always said this, and I see Master Doom's out in the channel as well, and him and I have had a little actually it was Master Doom and Quimbeck both. They really put a lot of this problems with our region. Quimbeck was a Trion creator a long time ago. Well, in the PC world a long time ago, but about 6 months ago. But they wanted to stick a lot of stuff on Trion, and you know what? Trion's not blameless, but I've always said that I just feel like a lot of it is this communication barrier between Trion and XL, and I don't know, man. It just feels like XL just shits on us, and they just don't listen to us. And I don't know necessarily if that's Trion not telling them exactly how we feel, or if it's hard to pin down where that problem is. But it does seem like it starts at XL, and if XL really listened to us, that a lot of this stuff wouldn't be coming to us the way it is. I've always felt that way, but I know that Trion can't not be blameless here. So I just feel like that we've gotten the short end of the stick many times, and it's really hard to pin down who to blame that on. But it does seem like, to me at least, it originates from XL, and they get the final say. So if you want to use the old analogy, the buck stops here. Yeah, it stops at XL. If they want something changed, they'll just change it.
Right. I mean, I won't say exactly that it's a contract issue, but I will hint largely at that it is a contract issue between XL and Trion, although I'm not confirming that it's a contract issue. But what I will say is that Trion, for any single change in their game, they have to talk to Excel. For literally fixing a bug in their game, they have to talk to Excel. They can't access the actual game files. That's been confirmed multiple times over. And as a result, everything that they do, aside from localization, has to do with them reporting back to Excel. So that's really where the problem stems from. They're both to blame here, but Excel does get a lot more blame than a lot of people give them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I can add, when you're talking about what Trion can and cannot do, I also want to confirm this. So 2.5, whenever they introduced the skill queue, oh boy, bits. Thank you very much for the war. Somebody always profits from a war. But back when they did the skill queue testing, they opened a private server, a Trion private server, called the ETS, or the Eternal Test Server. And I was one of 8 people that was actually allowed to play on that server to help them test the test queue. And during that little testing phase, what they were trying to do is change the server response, the server queue response, and it was in a configuration file. And so the first day that we had this Eternal Test Server, they tested whatever settings Excel gave them and said, okay, now we want to change it to this, but we have to get Excel to do it. And they hinted that they could do it, but they weren't allowed to do it. And so yeah, so there's confirmation in what you said to me.
Again, I'm hinting at it being a contract issue. So
yeah, and
hinting, big hints. It's in bold.
Yeah, and I've seen that confirmed. And it's just what it is, and we roll with the punches, man, and that's all good.
For sure.
What is going on? Why is we've got some raffles coming up, and I haven't talked about them. If Mark, you can hang on for a second while I'll rattle on here. Oh, that's what I was looking for. I put the text stream up. The raffles that are coming up, we have the Trion creator codes, the Vero weapon skins. I'm going to be giving away 2 of those this hour because last week I didn't stream. And then also we're going to be doing an Apex giveaway on the Thunderwing, the Retribution, or the Nui server. So if you guys want to hang out for those raffles, the raffle timer's in the upper left-hand corner of the stream. My counter says 9 minutes, or 9 minutes 30 seconds. So just to let you know how laggy you are, that's coming up here very shortly. Let's go back to the Hiram Tier 2. Actually, before we do that, the Hiram Tier 3 is what I meant to say. Before we go back, did you get to hear any of what Hazzmatt and I talked about with the skill changes and the new Abyssal tree? Did you catch any of that conversation?
I caught a little bit of that.
Okay.
Most of the end, but yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? Trion has a great contract. That's a good one, Donald Trump. You're going to love it. You're going to love this contract. I get the best. When I tell you, believe me, when I tell you we have the best contract. What we talked about was the Abyssal tree and how how it's going to play out. Have you heard anything from the people in Korea? Like, do they like it? Do they hate it? He actually mentioned that at some point they changed some of the skills because they were too OP.
Yeah, right. They changed the charging lions, so they lowered them from like I think it was 2 without enrage, and then it could go up to 4 with enrage. So they changed it to only 1 charging lion, and it can go up to 2 with enrage now. That's the important change. I don't remember the other changes.
Hold on. Do they have ice cream trucks in Italy?
See, that's what I was really confused about. I think there's something playing in the background. That's kind of why my voice kind of slowed down and just my head turned. I'm like, what the fuck is that? But regardless of what that background noise is, it's not an ice cream truck. That's really distracting. Hold on.
Confirmed, Italy has ice cream trucks. Actually, I unmodded Caveman Sean. Hey, how you doing? I actually unmodded. Oh, it's Nightbot that got you. Okay, I had Stream Elements, Nightbot, MooBot. I had so much shit in there. I unmodded Stream Elements, but Nightbot still dinged you. I thought I turned that off. If I still have that window open, let me look.
Anyways, the ice cream truck is gone now. So
okay, so we were talking about Abyssal skill trees and the charging lion, charging lions, and the change there. Or
so let me
go ahead.
Let me see the exact changes. Give me a second. Hold on. That's not it. All right, so I found it. So the number of lions was changed from 2, 3, 4 to 1 to 2. The size of the lions was increased, and the range was apparently increased as well. And that's about it. So that was really the only OP skill that they saw. And they kind of nerfed it by lowering the number of lions that it actually released.
And so how good was that skill to begin with? I mean, if they nerfed...
It was pretty good, I'd say. It was just being spammed all over in PvP by the players who had it. I mean, you can imagine a skill that was on high CD, needed a lot of abyssals, quite a bit of hatred charges in archery to actually set off, and then just being transported into Abyssal changed a little bit up, but still, keeping the general gist of things into just a skill tree. It was obvious that players are going to spam it all over the place, especially with its ridiculous range/radius. But yeah, I mean, I'd say it was pretty good to begin with.
So it was a good skill, and I asked Hazzmatt this question, and he gave a pretty good answer, but he talked about the way the skill tree works is like, how the Abyssal tree works now, where you have to use certain skill. Now any skill gives you Abyssal charges, but you have to build up Abyssal charges, and then you could only use that skill once you have those charges, and then it would reset the charges. You'd have to build them back up. Now they're doing a hatred system or a rage system. Is that what's going on?
Right. So I mean, basically, it's like stacks of bloodthirst or something where it just goes into your buff bar, and you accumulate a certain number of rage stacks from the Rising Hatred skill, which used to be a skill in all Abyssal skill trees. So you just activate that, and then every second it gives you a stack of rage, right? And it gives you up to 10, if I recall correctly, and then you can use those rage stacks to combo with other Abyssal skills. The one thing that I did see from NA players, NA/EU players, was how uninteractive these skills were, in the sense that Archeage is a combo-based game. XL, when designing the Abyssal skill tree, or when redesigning the Abyssal skill tree thereof, kind of chose to ignore that fundamental concept of Archeage being a combo-based game and just went with like, well, we're only going to make a combo with itself, right? We're not going to make combo with any other skill trees. It's just going to be a combo within itself. So there was a lot of backlash, at least from NA and EU, towards that. Don't know about the backlash from Korea, just because Koreans didn't really get to see it until release date. But it's perfectly possible that it was there. So yeah, that's that.
Cool. All right, so I want to wrap up with you on the tier 3 or tier 2. Well, let's just talk more about the Hiram gear. And I think we both kind of said our feelings on this matter. So I'm here on my, this is my fresh start character. You guys are seeing here on Twitch. I have 2 pieces of Hiram gear. Both of them are at unique. Now, one of them has substantially more XP pumped into it because it's a weapon. The other one is a flute, so it was kind of relatively easy to get to unique. So now I'm staring down the barrel of needing 56 total drops to get my sword to Celestial, and only 33 drops to get my flute to Celestial. And so the Hiram gear pieces, or the Hiram gear in particular, is that same kind of difference in like you're working on a belt or sleeves, which take very little XP compared to like a two-hander, where it takes a truckload, you know, comparatively speaking. Is that same curve also built in the tier 2 and the tier 3?
You mean like the experience curve?
Well,
or
the
what?
difference, like, you know, where you might need, I'd have to go back to my spreadsheet, but, you know, let's say you need a total of 10,000 XP to get it to Celestial for a flute. You might need, you know, 25,000 to get it to Celestial for a two-hander. Is that same difference built in tier 2 and tier 3?
To be honest, I am not sure, because the only information about T3 Hiram gear so far has been from one article that Excel released, and the only actual information on T3 Hiram gear that they provided was that it exists. You get it by going into the Huron West Mountains, and here are 2 screenshots of the T3 Huron Epic Dagger, and here's a screenshot of the T3 Huron Epic Bow. That's it. So I have no idea. We have very limited information.
So how about tier 2 then? So do we still, like, it's not a...
Let me check. Because I don't actually have the experience values from Korea at the current moment, but let me check if
you don't have that. We can go on to another topic.
Yeah, I don't think I do have that, sadly.
So what I want to do now for you guys here, you guys have probably already seen this stuff, but if you bear with me, for those that haven't, I'm going to pop over to YouTube, and I want to play the XL trailer that they just released, and let's talk about that. So let me find that link real quick. Actually, it's probably in my Discord, because if you try to search for XL official stuff on YouTube, I have a hard time finding anything. But Kriya posted this in Discord, so I'll just get that link as soon as I find it. Oh God, it's been a couple days ago now. Where did it go? You know what I'm talking about, right, Mark?
I do. Hold on. Let me find it.
Oh.
It should just be on the XL Games channel. You found it?
Well, I found where... Okay, there it is. Okay. So let me make this full screen, and we'll play it here on the stream so everybody gets to see it. I'm gonna find OBS. I got so many windows open here. Okay, let's do monitor, theater mode. Let's do full screen. There we go. All right, here we go, guys. This is the new trailer from XL about the west of the Hiram Mountains, and we'll discuss more on what this actually means, if anything, after the video. So sit tight. We've got 2 minutes. All right, so there's the video. Well, I'll go ahead and post a link to that in the chat for anybody that didn't catch that. Oh, well, that is not. That's not the link. Let me get that link. Okay. There you go. There's the link to that video if you guys would like to rewatch it. So here we go. This is kind of a, if you don't mind for a second, Mark, this is my jovial take on that.
Yep.
Basically what we have is a little girl that somehow finds herself in a forest. We have a player character who is fighting off an enemy while apparently wearing plate armor, but also has backdrop. Because he jumps on his back and then does a backdrop. I know it's cinematic, so, you know, whatever. But, you know, if we're putting it into Archeage terms. So this little girl takes a portal that she probably shouldn't have took. She ends up in a place that she shouldn't be. And some player comes to try to save her. But while he's fighting and distracted on this other NPC, there's some kind of reser in the background that needs some tree bark because... he has to craft some res scrolls, so he scrapes the tree, and he reses he crafts his scrolls, and he reses these characters that are dead, and so now we've got undead, and in some new zone that is supposed to be coming out. So my takeaway is there's going to be a new zone, and possibly some new class. Or new class of enemies that can res, or maybe it's just theatrics where there's this powerful enemy that has a bunch of minions that comes out and does damage. So do you know anything about this video, and what was your take on it?
So originally I thought that Excel was actually going to announce a new release or something like that, maybe the new skill tree that was rumored, but it seems that the new video was actually just a teaser for the Hiram mountain range in the west, and a little bit for the T3 gear. So pretty uneventful in reality. That being said, maybe it still does tease the 12th skill tree, which is supposed to be released in August, I'd say. They teased it back in June, but they didn't release it this month. They said that they were going to release it in the summer, so August seems to be the prime time to do that. Other than that, I mean, I've speculated for a while that we are going to be getting 2 new races this year, but I could be wrong, so we'll see.
Thank you, Sweetheart, for that answer in chat. Yes, I am talking with Mark in Omnom.io. Once again, and so you said something though that there was a new zone. So you do think it's a new zone, and you said west.
Yeah, the Hiram Mountains. It's 100% new zone. That's where you get the new stuff for the Hiram T3.
Where is so we're looking at in Twitch right now. We're looking at a map of Nuia. Is that the west you were talking about, or is it west?
No. It's Aurora. It's just called the Western Hiram Mountains. But it is Aurora though. I can send some screenshots over in a bit.
Okay, so
give me a second.
So do you know about where that's gonna? Is it like
I don't know exactly where. I can send some screenshots over. Give me a second.
We got raffles coming up here in a minute, guys. We've got 2 Vero weapon skins for Fresh Start of Legacy, and then we're also going to be giving away my Apex. I'm getting very, very broke, guys. But I do have Apex on the Nui server, the Thunderwing server, and the Retribution server. So everybody should find a way, make a character or whatever to get in on those. We'll be giving those away here in about a minute. More bits, more bits. Thank you very much. Omnom with 149 bits, Jen with 128, and Jeffrey. I don't know if you want me saying your in-game name, but Jeffrey, thank you for the 100 bits today. Also, we had a couple subs, so I really appreciate that.
But yeah,
where were you sending those? Oh, okay, got it in Discord.
Discord.
Hallelujah! Sure, why not?
Thank you very much, sweetheart.
Mamma mia, that's some spicy meatball.
I was trying to figure out what was going on there. Sweetheart activated a football giveaway for 26 others in chat. I don't know what that is. Well, thank you for that. Confusing me. Okay, so we're going to do raffles here in just a second, but I want to share these images that Mark has shared with me. So let's go back to the monitor. This is Discord. What are we looking at here, Mark? Oh.
So these are
the first image that you sent me, where you've got like a purple cube.
Don't know what that was. It was Otto from Twitch.
Right. So that's the. These are images of the new zone. Not sure what the purple cube is just yet. Not sure what significance of it is, but it's likely in relation to the new Hiram T3. These are the Hiram Mountains that you see in the background of the second image. I don't know if that's up on your screen right now, but yeah.
There we go. I got a big version up. Holy smokes, that's a big version. It looks pretty cool. I also got a little bit of a kind of like a Hassela, like the kind of like Hassela with these towers in the background, the Villanelle kind of feel, where if we look over here on the right, although I don't have a mouse pointer that you guys can see, you can see my little plus over here. It's kind of like the Villanelle tower-esque buildings with these weird towers, and then this like Warfield where a bunch of stuff is kind of trashed in kind of like a river, like a valley. Very interesting. Thanks for those images. Let's go back to the first one real quick, and then we're going to do some raffles. Close that, and I'll open that big. So here is the first image. This is the looks kind of like a summoning tower with a purple cube kind of encapsulated. I wonder if that's going to be some kind of weird POI that you got to fight for or defend, or if it's just scenery. I don't know. Because there's another one over here. So there's two of, and it actually looks like there's another one here. So this might be some kind of like Ost mana tower type thing, where these are little pillars or something that you have to claim, and they attack people. Welcome back to Hour 3 of Archeage, and with me still is Mark at Omnom.io. How you doing, Mark? Were you able to stretch a little bit?
Yeah, did a couple of workouts, did some push-ups. No, I didn't.
Got some push-ups in, and we've got a request for Mark to sing. That was by Lenore.
It's a little too much. But
by the way, guys,
yeah.
if any of you guys do like singing or do like hearing other people sing, there is a unofficial karaoke channel for Archeage players that is run by Teak and Kaya Shadow. If you guys would like the links, I will share that. They usually do karaoke every 2 weeks, either on a Friday or Saturday. And there's some really, really good singers in there, really good. And there's some really bad singers as well. But it's all in good fun. So if you guys would like to hang out, you do need raid call. And you guys can join my Discord and ask me about it. I will tell you. There's players from Disaster, Barcode. We got a lot of people that show up in there, so it's kind of fun. So anyway, we ended the last hour, and let me get the raffle timer going here. We ended the... Oops, that's a short break. Nope. There we go. We got more raffles coming up in 50 minutes. And we ended the last hour with talking about something that I gotta admit I don't know much about, successor levels. Mark, what is a successor level?
So successor level is basically a success. No. So it's basically what comes after regular levels. So currently in the game, there's successor level 1 through 7, and players can level up through these successor levels once they hit the 55 cap. Now the successor levels, they bring basically skill add-ons to certain skills in each tree. So for example, in Battle Rage, the skill add-ons work for Triple Slash, Tiger Strike, and shit, what was the third one? Triple Slash, Tiger Strike, might have been Charge, but I'm not sure. I am forgetting.
Okay,
Crap.
so but what do they do?
But
do they
yeah,
do more damage? Or
so what do they do is basically the successor levels. Basically, I mean, all they do is they sort of change up the way that some skills are. So, for example, the Triple Slash successor level, one of them makes it AOE, while the other one makes the Triple Slash extremely fast.
And so so the successor levels, which
they're ancestral
okay,
levels.
so that's what everybody
Right.
has already. So for the legacy
Right,
players, it's
but-
nothing new.
Right, but what you don't know is that Korea is actually releasing more. So
Oh,
what Korea is doing in July is they're raising the successor level cap from 7 to 34.
holy shit!
But since Excel is lazy as fuck, they're like, we're gonna raise it, but we're not gonna release the skill add-ons yet.
So you basically get to level cap and for nothing, just something to do?
Well, no, not for nothing. So since, again, XL is legacy as fuck, the way that they looked at balancing certain PvP aspects was, so what they're basically doing now is per successor level, you're going to get 20 resilience, 10 toughness, 0.1% reduced damage, and 0.05% accuracy.
I see.
What this means is when you multiply by that by 34, you get something like what is it, like 680 extra resilience, 340 extra toughness, etc. Right? So that's just them being lazy and trying to balance out PvP a little bit instead of, you know, maybe changing something in the game for once.
Well, so here's the good thing about that. At least this is my initial thoughts on it. What I discussed with Hazzmatt is he was talking about when we were talking about the boss changes, and he said, well, what the people in the player nations are doing is they just make Aranor stuff. They make alts, and then they just give it to the other. You know, they have alts, and then they'll just send their whole gear set over. And then they'll go do the Red Dragon or whatever they want with their ults. And they basically run the content no matter what.
For sure.
But so with being able to change, you know, we said that basically what I said was the game is so gear dependent. Like everything that matters is pretty much on your gear. So if somehow you could equip a level 1, or, well, maybe not a level 1, but let's say a level 50 with a full set of Aranor, they would be pretty OP, but, you know, there's skill requirements that prevent that. But now the successor levels will add at least something. Right now you get a little bit more health and base stats for higher levels, but it's pretty generic, right? So the successor levels, at least, they add something.
Well, you don't really get any health or mana right now, but what I will say is that I don't actually think that it'll affect Legacy in any sort of way, just because a 12k gear score Aranor will still one-shot a 7k gear score whatever, regardless if he has 300 extra toughness and 600 extra resilience. It really doesn't matter. It's basically 1.5 gems in terms of resilience and 1 gem in terms of toughness. So it really doesn't change much. What I do think that they're getting at is that they're kind of trying to bridge the gap a little bit over in Fresh Start, in the sense that, you know, the gear gap is not as big in Fresh Start as it is on Legacy. So I really do think that, as with all their updates, this is geared more towards Fresh Start and trying to bring in more players, or trying to retain more players than, you know, they retained on previous Fresh Starts, which they are doing. But yeah, like, I really don't think that'll affect the whole controlling bosses on Legacy servers fiasco at all.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that at least it does something. I mean, it's not sure that it's going to change the dynamics at all. So 34 levels of Successor, which probably means some more achievements on the way, and maybe a title or something like that, which will be good for title hunters. But all in all, it's probably not changing a whole lot. So maybe, well, you know, we've got, at least on the Legacy servers, we've got a bunch of XP items that we have nothing to do with. So hopefully earning XP again will be a thing, but whatever. So when is this Successor change coming, or to Korea, or is it out, or what's going on?
So it's coming on July 5th, and then Excel promised for the additional Successor ancestral skills to be released in August.
Okay, so it's coming to Korea basically in a few days, and so we don't know when it's going to get to us. Actually, I don't know that we touched on it, but I wanted to say that one of the things that happened when we were talking about Hiram gear, and when it came out in Korea, was we got it pretty quickly, right? It wasn't the 3 months or 6 months. It was pretty quickly that we got the Hiram gear.
Well, Korea did get it, I think, on their second or third phase.
Yeah, and so we got it pretty much quickly, though. I mean, because we had the fresh start, but we got the Hiram gear, and I think even Crowlin mentioned this in the last time that we saw him, was that they wanted the Hiram gear to be available. XL wanted the Hiram gear to be available sooner rather than later, so we got that a little earlier than we were expecting. So anyway, so with that, the reason I mention that is because some of this stuff that's happening now in Korea may actually get into our builds before it does in the typical flow, just depending on how important XL thinks it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else about the successor levels? This is something you haven't talked about or haven't released an article yet, right?
No, this is still on the July article that I'm working on right now. But I mean, in terms of anything else, really, I mean, the overall skill experience per level gets lowered quite substantially because you do have 34 successor levels versus 7. But other than that, nothing really important is coming in the upcoming patch.
Do you know if in Korea, like the XP that we put into our 7 levels that we have now on the legacy servers, does that translate into, like, you know, level 20 or whatever?
No idea.
If anybody didn't know what I was talking about, is like if they're lowering the XP per successor level, and we already have 7 levels, because the XP is lower, do we start out at a higher successor level? That's all I was wondering. And Mark said, no idea. All right. So anything else on your mind, Mark? Anything?
No, I think we're good for now. I mean, there's some other updates coming in the July update, but everything will be detailed in the upcoming Omnom article. It should be out tomorrow, maybe, or after tomorrow. I'm kind of delaying it because I'm traveling right now, but really looking to get it out as soon as possible. So yeah.
So a couple days, maybe more. But yeah, we'll get some information from Omnom. New article coming out soon, TM. But before I let you go, Mark, I wanted to ask you one other thing. Is there's a lot of stuff, like right now there's a lot of stuff like tier 2, tier 3, successor levels, raid boss changes, die changes, debuff changes. There is a lot of stuff on omnom.io right now that's already happened in Korea. So based on your user interaction, what have you seen people talking about the most? What's the most talked about or most viewed, or what has got the people the most excited that you've seen from Omnom?
I don't know about excited, but I can talk about just the most talked. It's definitely the Hiram gear, you know, the expansions on the Hiram gear, and the Abyssal skill tree. So in terms of the Hiram gear, a lot of the legacy players are hating it because it's kind of just you know, making itself into the gear system, and a lot of legacy players are looking at it and saying, okay, this is actually a lot better than my current gear, and XL's kind of forcing it upon the legacy players to actually go Hiram gear, even though they've invested already thousands and thousands of dollars, some of them, into Obsidian tier 7 or something like that, you know. So they're kind of annoyed with that, I'd say.
That's a good point, because I didn't I've got what I'm currently working on for everybody out there in Twitch. I'm currently working on a video for larceny, and this is going to tie together in a second. But one of the things that I wanted to do for this larceny video, and I can show some of what I've got, but what I wanted to do is open up the coin purses and the crates, and then talk about how much money per hour that you can earn doing larceny, because it's one of the only things that I do anymore to earn gold, even on the Fresh Start and the Legacy servers. But one of the things that happened that's making this video difficult is there is no good spots to farm some of the coin purses that I would normally farm. And that's because of the Hiram gear. And so I can see animosity building on the Legacy player side because, look, if you want to work on Hiram gear, the places that you used to go to are now packed with these stupid Hiram mobs. But if you don't want to, there's pretty much no good zones except for one that you can farm the normal crate mobs that you don't have to dick with these stupid Hiram mobs. And when I say stupid, I'm only saying that in the sense of if I don't want to farm Hiram gear, now I've got these mobs, like these 2-star mobs that stun, snare, silence you, and it's like you can't farm efficiently because these Hiram mobs are peppered in where you would normally farm. And I'm speaking specifically of Diamond Shores. The 2 places in Diamond Shores that I would farm, if I was looking for the cloak materials, now you got all these Hiram mobs that do not drop cloak materials. And so it's basically all around the Ost bunker in the 2 spaces in the Nui, and I'm highlighting it here. So all the cloak dropping mobs have basically got peppered with the stupid Hiram mobs, in the sense of if you're not wanting Hiram. And then the one big spot that I loved to farm was the time-locked creatures over on the east side of Diamond Shores. That was my go-to spot because that zone cycles to war, and the creatures were easy to kill. So now you have all these Hiram mobs in there that basically ruin larceny. And so anyway, it's tying together in that the Legacy players, if you don't want to work on Hiram mobs, now you've got Hiram mobs where you don't want them. And if you do, you've got mobs that are really kind of annoying to kill. They're not fun to farm. So also in that same vein is I am somebody that went Obsidian. Like, that was what I did. I had one Ionad Epic Leggings, I think it was, and I don't have that anymore. I sold it. Everything that I own is Obsidian. And now XL is basically saying, if you don't want Hiram gear, you don't have to have it, but your only option is basically Ionad or Aranor, and good luck with that, right? And that's so expensive, but the stats on a lot of the Hiram pieces with the crit damage and the crit rate, they make it very attractive, and I could see a lot of people getting upset, and I don't know that they have a good solution for that.
I mean, in many senses, the Hiram gear is a poor man's Aranor. So if you don't have the monetary funds to go Aranor, you kind of just go Hiram gear. Everything else is obsolete at this point.
Except for jewelry.
Except for jewelry, yeah. But I mean, that really is that. It's going back to the fact that XL changes one thing and doesn't change anything that it affects, that change affects. It just kind of lets it play out.
Well, here's the kicker on not only the Hiram but the Aranor. If you want to tie those two together, the one thing that I think is a big weakness with Archeage is if you get a good weapon, it takes a full set. It actually takes more than a full set of armor of that same type. So like if you had, let's say a legend, let's not even go big. Let's say you had a epic Aranor. It's going to take like a legendary set of Aranor armor to even try to mitigate that quality of weapon, right? It takes so, and the thing about that is, it takes basically trying to craft one weapon is equal to crafting 7 pieces of armor, and the 7 pieces of armor aren't any cheaper than the weapon to craft, and so you have to invest 7 times into your armor what you invest into your weapon. That's why everybody goes weapon first.
For sure. I mean, it used to be the meme before Dark Runners got kind of nerfed out of existence. It used to be the meme that you just gave a mythic 2-hander to a Dark Runner and you let him go off without any armor and he'd still destroy every single player out there. I wouldn't say that it's the truth anymore, but you know, it stands true that weapons really give a massive. They're just worth a lot more in terms of what they give than what armor gives on return of investment. So yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that. It's like the Dark Runner. And this happened to me on the PTS when they had the when they first came out with the Tier 7 Obsidian freebies on the PTS server. This guy just got a he rolled one of the free divines. He got a legendary divine, and then he dueled me, and I was in, you know, I was high gear scored, fully decked out in either Ionad or Tier 7. This guy rolls up Dark Runner, and 4K gear score almost kills me, like within a fart hair of dying. And this guy just Dark Runnered me, you know, and it's like, God damn, how do you counter this stuff? Yeah, that was a thing, and I don't know. The Dark Runners aren't a thing, at least from what I've noticed on the Fresh Start. Dark Runners aren't a thing anymore, but I don't know because I don't PvP. I'm still getting locked down by some class. I don't even know what they're playing. Is it?
It's all execution.
Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. They'll trip you, stun you. And by the time that gets done, they're almost ready to do it again. So you got this very small window to get the hell out, you know, if you want to get out or counter, whatever. Because the class I play on the Fresh Start is just an archer, and it's a shitty archer, like a howler or something, where I've got archery, aromancy, and songcraft. So I don't have any combo breakers. So when I get locked down, I'm locked down. It's over, you know. Yeah, there's a new meta out there anyway. And I've actually had a couple people on the Fresh Start servers. They roll up in packs, or not packs, but pairs. They'll roll up on a mount, and there'll be 2 of them working together, and then they'll combo you, and then once their combos wear off, the second one combos you. And it's like perma-stun lock. There's nothing you can do on the Fresh Starts. You're just dead.
Yuck. It's a problem with Battle Rage, but yeah.
So we don't see any of that getting fixed. By the way, Jin Dragon, I tried to kill some of these Abyssal mobs with Ancestral 7, so level 7 Grand Tier 1 Dawn's Drop. They died okay. Yeah, I mean, you can kill the mobs okay, Jen. On Fresh Start, I've got a legendary dungeon GHA bow. They die okay. I'm up to getting like 8 drops now because I'm in a zone that I figured is better for me. I'm up to getting 8 drops per hour on the Fresh Start, which is it still sucks, but it's at least better than the 4 per hour that I was getting. I am going to go pretty hardcore when the event comes out, which, by the way, is, I think it's July 4th. When's this new event? Let me look that up real quick. You guys know what event I'm talking about, where you get the double Hiram drop. I think you guys, everybody should farm that when that event's going on and stock up, because Tier 2 and Tier 3 is going to be a lot of XP. And so you want to get your double drops and at least get your base items, excuse me, ready to go if that's what you want. Let's see here. Did somebody say in chat yet what this is? Wangosaurus, Hiram can go to Tier 3 Epic. That's coming out next week in Korea. There's going to be a Tier 3 Hiram. That's why, by the way, this is Mark with Omnom.io that's here for everybody that's joining. I don't know where this news is at, but the event that's coming out it's sometime next week for the Legacy and the Fresh Start servers where you get double Hiram. And I don't know where the article is for the date, but that's coming soon. So anyway, so there's that. Yeah, soon TM. That's it. That's whenever it comes out. That's what we want to deal with. If you guys are working on the Hiram, you definitely want to get in there and start getting the grinding done. Another thing that somebody asked on the forums, and I think this is going to be a good thing to do, is the Prince crates, the Queen's crates, and the Ancestral crates for Korea. They start dropping Hiram XP stones, I guess is what I'm going to call them. They're basically give you 200 to 400 XP per stone. There's 3 different grades. They drop out of the crates, so you should start saving the crates, because I'm going to guess that the old crates basically just turn into the new crates, and instead of dropping trees and braziers, they're going to start dropping Hiram XP stones. So if you guys are wanting to, kind of get a jump on it, you might want to start saving crates up. Remember, crates take some labor, and they can eat up all your day's labor. If you got a bunch of them, you're just going to need a lot of them. I'm still kind of tabbing around looking for this article. I think I probably skipped it. This week is popping off. Free items? Oh. There's free items for Archeage. Let me log in off screen here. I'm logging into my Glyph account real quick, and oh, maybe I'm not. It looks like the Glyph is being slower than whatever's slow. I'm still logging in. Okay, I got logged in. Oh, I can't do that anymore now that I got a third monitor. Yes. Okay, so there is a free package on Glyph right now, guys. If you guys want to go claim that, glyph.com. You get 5 dragon fireworks, 5 heart fireworks, 2 and 2 bound quicksilver tonics, and 2 bound greedy grimoires. 2 hours of buffs. We'll take a look at that. Okay, so I got that. And then there's also a free Storm Wraith Kieran, which is for $100 in credits. You get 5 companion crust and a storm wraith. It's a wrapped storm wraith Trion. If you decide to drop 100 bones on credits, and if you decide to drop $50, you can get the 50 times loyalty tokens. And that's basically what's going on in the shop. I'm going to go back into game here real quick. I should have my little bonus items that I just claimed. Dragon fireworks do absolutely nothing. The heart fireworks do absolutely nothing. And the bound quicksilver tonics and the bound greedy grimoires, 10% XP or 10% loot buff per potion or grimoire for 1 hour. So 20% loot buff. And I already had a bunch of the, oh, yeah. I've got so many of those 2 items, like, I was hoping these fireworks were like these ones, these old fireworks from events, because they give you more loot drop buffs, but that is not the case. So the fireworks, let me see if I can... let me put that in my bar. I don't need the kick emote. There we go. Okay. So here is the dragon firework. Okay. Well, I can't zoom out with something in my... up my ass. Let's try another one. Well, they sure don't go very high. Hey, there's some fireworks. Oh, that was a Twitch sub. Never mind. I thought that sounded like oh, more bits. More bits, more bits, more bits. Well, those sure don't go very high. And they don't do anything for you. They don't give you a buff. There used to be a title or something like that. Oh, Kriya says, Muzzy posted in chat earlier, it's until day 5, 1 pack per day. Permission, okay, yep. Let me give you permission. Permit. Jen Dragon. There you go, Jen. Kriya says those are free on Friedrich. Yeah. And they're 1 gold each if you buy them. There's a firework vendor in Mirage Isle where you can buy these type of fireworks. I don't know. Fireworks aren't really impressive to me unless they do something for you. I'm more of a function over fashion type of person, and there's not much function to these. Yeah. They really don't go very high. Let me see if I can get a good look at one. That would make, maybe, if you got in the right view, that would be a pretty good, like, cheer emote or something like that in overlay for Twitch. But it's hard to get a good view of it. Like when someone gives you bits, that would pop up. I don't know. It looks okay. Different glyph gift per day. This is day 1. Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't even read the article. I just saw that it was there. That's pretty cool. Well, anyway, we've got a raffle coming up here in less than 20 minutes. And I think Mark is still here. Mark, are you still here? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But before you go, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or anything else that you want to say to anybody that's still left in chat?
No, I mean, thanks everybody for reading my articles as always. Got some more coming up. And yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right. Well,
it was great talking to you.
And I'm sorry I didn't have more stuff laid out because we kind of covered stuff really quickly today. Well,
no, it's totally
we had. Well, you were actually here for over an hour, so more time than we had together last time. So, but I really do appreciate you. Like even on vacation, Mark was here today to talk to us. So thank you very much for showing up and giving us the info that you always do. We almost take it for granted.
My pleasure.
So much. So thank you, Mark.
Pleasure, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Take care and be well.
Bye. Later.
All right, so we've got 20 minutes left to go. Let me go ahead and just recap the stream for everybody that's joining. Today was a Trion stream that we got hosted by Trion, which it's been a while since that's happened for me. And so we gave away some Archeage packs, some Bloomfang pets, and Conqueror's cubes. And then we did my normal giveaways last hour, which was for 2 Vero weapon skins and an Apex. And then we have those same raffles coming up here in about 15 minutes. We've got Muzzy was here, and Jen just posted a link to the article where we've got some extra giveaways going on. You need to go log in all your accounts to glyph.com or the archeagewebsite.com and claim your Archeage packages. Today you get some fireworks and 4 loot buffs, 2 different ones, 2 each. The Grimoire and the Lucky Quicksilver, they're bound, so you can't trade or sell them, but you know, if you hunt, you're going to use them yourself. With me in the second half hour of the stream today, I had Hazzmatt, who was a Reddit mod for like a year and a half, it seems like. He was a Reddit mod, no longer in that role, but he does a lot of PvP, and so he spoke to that. He's also a member of Disaster, so he just spoke to that and what he feels like is coming. I actually forgot to talk to him about the healer class, but he does play a lot of the healer class, and it really, really good. PvPer would just always amaze me because he was always a low gear score, but somehow he was just a pain in the ass to fight against. But he was a very, very good player when you had him in your group. So he's made it all the way to the top. He's in Disaster. The second hour we had Mark from Omnon, a little over an hour. And we talked about the Hiram Tier 2, the Hiram Tier 3, which is coming out already in Korea next week. And then we filled that out with talking about the Successor levels, which apparently are going to like 32 or 34. I can't remember exactly what he said. So there's going to be more levels. So like how we're in level 7 right now, that'll go up to 34. So you level to 55 and then you get 34 more levels. So so some stuff coming up in actually a lot of stuff has come up in Korea. A lot of stuff. And so it's going to be interesting on what we get. One thing that Mark said that really stuck out to me, and maybe you guys in chat picked up on something else that I'm not picking up on, but one of the big things that he said is he really feels like XL is really focused on these fresh start servers and not so much the legacy servers, which is really disappointing because I'm not quite sure if XL had just thrown in the towel and like said, well, we fucked it up, can't do anything about it. Or if they're just like, well, the only thing that we know that works for us is the fresh start servers, and so we're all in. At least that's the impression that he gave us, that he's feeling. So it is really kind of interesting that that he picked up on that, and he said it. The legacy servers, at least in Korea, have pretty much all but dried up, and so they're just all in on these fresh start servers, and that's kind of disappointing. Because the people that play on the legacy servers are the people that spend a lot of money, and he kind of alluded to that, where a lot of these people that's got, you know, full sets of legendaries, you know, Ionad or Aranor, or full sets of Aranor, they've spent a lot of money getting this stuff, and now they're just kind of introducing a new set of armor that's somewhat better than most of the stuff that somebody could reasonably expect to get, and it's like you got to start grinding again for it. It's kind of disappointing to hear that. I don't know. What do you guys pick up on? Jen says, I feel in agreement with Omnom that legacy is not a priority for XL, and we kind of seen that. We've kind of felt like that for a while. At least I have. It's because they just keep doing the fresh starts, but the problem is, here's the deal: is there is almost nothing that they can do, that I know of, that they can do to make fresh start appealing again. Like, how many people have they cycled through this game that are just like, never again, never again? I'm not going to start another. I'm not going to sign up with XL. I'm not going to sign up with Trion. We've done it. We've been there. We've seen it. And they always fuck it up, or they turn it into a pay-to-win grind that I'm not going to be a part of ever again. How many people have already said that? And so I'm of the opinion that if they want to do another fresh start, they have to change everything that they do in the way of monetization. If they even have a slightest attempt, like, some people will be like, nope, I'm not buying it anyway, even if they do really commit to it. You know, like my buddy Jalon that quit over this stuff, or some of this is the reason that he quit. But I mean, how many people have they burned through with these fresh start servers that just say, I don't care what they say, we're not going to go to it. But I think if they said, look, we're going to start a fresh start server, and there's going to be no red regrade charms, no lucky charms, no loot buffs. Everything that's in the cash shop is 100% cosmetic. No bag expansion slots. Like, everything that could even remotely be considered a pay to win was gone, and said, we will, under penalty of perjury, not ever put this in the game for this server. Everything that you would need, whether it's regrade charms or Hiram awakening scrolls, whatever, everything like that is found in game. Period. We will never put that in our cash shop again. Or you get like let's say a super patron, patron tier 2 or whatever, which is like $20 a month. For that extra $5 that you're giving them every month, you get a $5 bound package, which has like maybe one superior yellow, one superior red, and one awakening scroll, and, you know, maybe 10 loot drop buffs. That is the only, it's all bound. It's not sellable, not tradable. It's always bound. That's what you get for your super patron support. That's the only way to get that stuff. If they did something like that, I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance at another fresh start. But I don't think that's in the cards, because I don't think that's who they are. I don't think they have that ability to think that way, and it's a shame. Some Lander, I know I'm way behind on chat. I wish they would create a complex high-end dungeon. I agree. We need more content, period. Of course, it's a cash grab. Talk is cheap. All the devs are a good example of that by Dubstomp. I don't necessarily think it's the devs that make those things. It's the marketing departments that do that stuff. Agent 007, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Trion's contract up soon? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what's in those contracts. No one talks to me about that kind of stuff. I don't know that they're even allowed to talk about that. Like, they could get in legal trouble for even saying anything about a contract. But if it is, you know, is Trion willing to sign up for another year, another 2 years, another 4 years? I don't know. Sweet Tart says, Sweet Tart is Jalon, one of Jalon's mods. Man, you know, he's got mods. I got no mods, man. What's up with that? Sweet Tart says, well, Jalon mostly quit because of Trion. He loves the game still. Yeah, yeah, I love Jalon, so I never really talked to him about what happened, but he put it out there on YouTube, so if anybody wants to do that. Lenore, if we could just trust them to hold their word on something like that, right. Under penalty of perjury, I think that's a big statement that I made. If they could say, hey, we're not doing this, this is how we're doing it, and this is our contract, we're putting it into the terms of service. Like, make it so obvious and so, you know, they have to go big. They have to go big on something like that. I think MMOs are starting to go downhill after the monthly subscription model faded away. Yeah, I'm with you, Dubstomp, and the only hope of any of that I see is Ashes of Creation, and even some of the stuff that they do I don't like. So it's the industry that basically says my game costs 30 million or whatever to make, and we don't anticipate that there's going to be enough players to make all that money back from $10 or $15 a month. Therefore, we have to have a cash shop and we have to sell things. Then you've got greedy ass companies like EA and Activision Blizzard that says, hey, guess what? We're going to sell you a $30 game or a $100 or a $150 collector's edition, and then we're going to charge you a monthly fee via battle passes, and then we're going to have a cash shop with RNG boxes, and then we're going to release DLCs every 3 months. So open up your wallets because this new game is going to cost you a truckload. And they think they can do that. I think people should stop paying for that shit. EA crossed the line with Battlefield or Star Wars Battlefront, but they're not giving up. They're still doing the same stuff. They're just not doing as much. Like, they think they can charge everything that they can possibly can, and people just drop a lot of money because a lot of the people that are gaming nowadays are people like me that have and I'm not saying that I'm well off, but there's a lot of middle class, upper class people that started gaming, you know, 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that have these good jobs now, and their entertainment budget is a lot higher than, you know, people that are just starting out, you know, and so they have money to spend on stuff like this. And gaming companies are companies nonetheless, and if you have money and you're willing to give it to them, they're going to find a way to take it. Unfortunately, I think every game should be modeled after something like Fortnite, not in the play style, but in the way that they do it. Because if the game is good enough, it will become a big hit like Fortnite, and people will buy millions and millions of dollars worth of battle passes. But anytime that I've ever said anything like that, and I've had Trion people tell me, well, we can't do that because we don't have that many players. Well, here's a chicken and egg scenario. You don't have that many players because you're not doing that, is my response. So, whatever. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until raffles. I'm going to read a little bit of chat. BDO has the pay to be pretty. I'm okay with cash shops. I just didn't like BDO because I didn't like the combat, which was really weird because that's what a lot of people love about BDO was the combat. They underestimate people buying cosmetics as a cash shop. Right, Lenora, because look at Dota 2. Isn't that a pure 100% new character? The Dota 2 and League of Legends both are not cash shop. There's no pay to power. There's pay for new characters, but that's it. And cosmetics make the world go round, man. Unfortunately, if it was a cosmetic only environment, guess who would be loving it? Because I don't spend money on cosmetics. I get cosmetics because I spend money on regrade charms that I've done. You know, I don't spend anywhere near the amount of money. I think this year I'm probably spent between Fresh Start and Legacy $100. I bought a $50 pack and a $40 pack. So, so 6 months in, I got $100 in Archeage. That's acceptable, I guess. It's not, you know, I'm not paying for even patron subscriptions. So $100 if you spend, you know, $15 per account. Like in World of Warcraft, I had 2 accounts. So I was $30 a month on that. You know, 6 months I would have $180 in World of Warcraft. So I'm below what I would spend in World of Warcraft. But the thing is, to get to where I'm at in Archeage, at least on the Legacy server, I spent $1,000 in the first year of it.
Mamma mia, that's some spicy meatball.
And $1,000 for me is a lot of money. I mean, you know, I know a lot of you out there may think $1,000 is nothing, pocket change, but $1,000 for me is a lot of money. So it is what it is. All right. Well, you know, CS:GO, yeah, CS:GO is they cracked down on the trade. They're doing something with the trading on the CS:GO thing where you can't trade it for 7 days or some shit like that. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't like that kind of stuff either, but there's a lot of people that spend a lot of money on whatever they love, and I have no problem with that. I honestly don't. I don't. I think where it gets shady is where there's gambling involved with it. You know, to get this item, you have to randomly sort through a bunch of shit. I don't like that. I think items should just be available for cash. If they want to make it a limited time, make it a limited time, and that puts the, you know, the hurry up and spend money, you know, emotion into people. But, you know, probably no one's hiring me as a marketer because I wouldn't believe in this RNG box stuff. But anyway, guys, that sound means it is time for the raffle. This is the last raffle today. We got 2 raffles available to you. The first one is going to be for the Vero weapon skins. And I've got 2 of those to give away this hour because I missed last week. So we're going to go ahead and reset that. Let me get you guys in here. I just marked that as sent. I'll save this, and there we go. Oh, we're not on monitor mode. There you go. See, marked it as sent. So, everybody that won the Trion prizes, Trion's going to contact you, not me. Mr. Murr, Lunasa, Katarina, and Koshin LP. I will be contacting you after the stream with your codes. Look for Twitch Whispers. Glazer19, I know you won from me before, but I will contact you as well via Twitch Whisper and find out where to send your Apex. There we go. Hey, look. Winner and received. All right, that's the end of it for me, guys. I'm going to send out these Whispers, and then I'm going to go get some dinner. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I want to thank Trion for the host, Sparks for the host. There's more people I need to thank yet. Hold on, let me pull it up. All the followers, I can't read them all. Sweet Tart, Omnom, and Jen Dragon for the bits. Mr. Dat, Jeffrey Tungsten for the bits. Lunessa for the resub. Any other subs today? I thought I saw another sub today. Like, you guys don't see what I'm doing. I'm going through this list. It is huge. Well, German Twitch is subbed yesterday. I wasn't streaming, so thank you for that. Lunessa with the sub. Trion for the host. Jen Dragon. We mentioned Jen. Zertna for bits. Miller MX for the bits. And then I think I got everybody else. Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody here. I also want to thank Hazzmatt from Disaster, old Reddit mod, for hanging out for a half hour today, talking about some of the new skill changes. Also, Mark from Omnom.
Want some of this? Then you know what to do, dog. Bust the move.
Hanging out as well, and that was another sub. I didn't even catch who it was. I have to go look at the window again. Proper thank you to, holy crap, Hazzmatt for the sub. Thank you very much for that. Wow, double thank you to Hazzmatt, Twitch Prime sub, and for hanging out today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate your support, guys. And by the way, remember that I'm working on a larceny video that'll be probably out this weekend. So check my YouTube, !YouTube, if you don't have that link. And until next time, this is September saying thank you and be well. Well, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you all have found this both helpful and informative. That is the goal. Special thanks to Al Hassan Mohammed on YouTube and Vibe Skies on Facebook for both this intro and outro music. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. Links will be in the video description. If you'd like to support my work, you can do so by becoming a Patreon, a subscriber on Twitch, or direct donations are accepted through Streamlabs. I'd like to thank my current Patreon, Umokon Onal, for the continued support. You rock. Also, big shout out to my Twitch subs who make every Friday the bright spot of my week. And finally, I'd like to thank the wonderful supporters who have donated to me over the years: Riot Devil, Mac, Cassandra, Elder, and Wicked Babe. Until next time, this is September saying be well.